I guess we'll start out by talking about the Chris Ash effect coming in from Ohio State, taking over as the head man, and maybe some nuances you saw, some differences between the previous coaching staff and what Ash has implemented on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to sum up the effect as, he landed the 82nd ranked class, because obviously that doesn't reflect very well. But I don't think Ash ever came in expecting to, land a top 30 class, basically overnight. And you have to keep in mind that they were, hovering around 50 when Kyle Flood was here. He inherited a situation with a 4-8 team that had a multitude of off-field problems. Obviously, had their coach fired. So I wouldn't judge him at all on this class. But as far as your question about just any differences, he's really stressing character. That's not to say Kyle Flood didn't, but clearly with the issues this program had last year, character became a bigger concern. And Ash is determined to do things the right way. He always says he's not looking for JUCOs and quick fixes by, maybe taking a gamble on kids. He wants to get good kids in here. Obviously, talented players is the ultimate goal, but it almost seems like he was willing to let a few talented players either decommit or he didn't push as hard for them because he just might have felt it wasn't the right fit. Again, at the end of the day, you're going to have to get talented players to compete in the Big Ten. And I really think 2017, you'll see a much different result on the recruiting trail, or at least that's what Rutgers fans are hoping for. But I think this first year, he wasn't swinging for the fences. He wanted to get a good, solid class, fully understanding this is a pretty big undertaking he has ahead of him. So I don't think he's too caught up in what happened. I think really his focus was more just getting good kids in the program and kind of building from there.
And as you well know better than I do, that it means losing a lot of kids in state that are going to other programs. New Jersey, if you don't follow recruiting heavily, wouldn't seem to be a top-notch state, but it's definitely in the top 10 to 12 states in the country in producing numbers, and more than that, the quality. But Rutgers didn't do too well from what I know. Definitely correct me if I'm wrong in regards to keeping some of those kids.
Yeah, obviously the top half of the Jersey top 10 is basically going to be residing in Michigan next year. It's tough to expect any coach to come in and compete with Jim Harbaugh and Urban Meyer right out of the gates, and really no coach has been able to do that consistently. Greg Schiano had a few years, but that's really been the problem for this program. Kind of the thing everyone looks at, if they could ever just keep those kids home. Well, it really hasn't happened. I will say Ash seemed to make a concerted effort to get Jersey guys. He certainly didn't get the Rashawn Garys and Kareem Walkers, but I think he signed 8 recruits, that he recruited, and 6 of them from New Jersey. So clearly there was a focus on, I'm going to get Jersey kids, build some inroads. Maybe you take a 2-star kid and it helps you get a 4-star kid next year. Obviously, you take each kid on his merit, but there is a lot of relationship building that goes into the process. So again, he certainly didn't come close on any of the the top Jersey kids, like I said, that are going to other places in the Big Ten. But he did make a focus to recruit Jersey. And he said right out of the gates, the reason why this job attracted to him is what you were referring to. There's a lot of talent here. He didn't want the Syracuse job, and there's not a lot of talent there. The attractive thing about the Rutgers job compared to other schools that are, maybe on the same footing is the local talent. If you can ever keep it home, it's a job that could really skyrocket. Of course, easier said than done.
Dan Duggan breaking down Rutgers recruiting with us from NJ.com. Dan, so who are the prime players from this particular class?
I think the biggest one is actually a guy that Ash landed. The quarterback, obviously, is always going to be the prime position. And they went out and got a kid, Tylen Oden, who was like a soft commit to Louisville for a while. Had some big-time interest. Ohio State was interested in him. Obviously, they got Dwayne Haskins, so that worked out. But that's kind of how he got on the radar, because obviously Ash, being the defensive coordinator there last year, and got in touch with the staff there when they were kind of scrambling last minute because they lost Anthony Russo, who flipped to Temple. So they basically were, casting a wide net to try and find a quarterback in 3 weeks. Not an easy process, but Oden's legit. He's a 3-star kid, 6'5", 175. Obviously needs to spend a lot of time in the weight room, but they need a dual threat quarterback to run the offense that they're trying to run here. So he seems to be, an answer down the road for that, which was nice to get in such a short period of time. There were some good recruits that Kyle Flood that stayed over from the Kyle Flood era. Running back Trey Sneed, who's already enrolled, stands out as one of those guys. They're pretty stocked at running back, which is kind of a luxury that maybe they can bring him along slowly, maybe even ideally redshirt him. But he's a guy who had some Power 5 offers, who has a chance that if the depth chart was a different way, could probably step right in. He really went after the linebacker position because they lost all three starters. Hard to say right now who's going to emerge from that group. I mean, they're all kind of coming in on equal footing. But again, you always kind of give the advantage to early enrollees, and three of the linebackers enrolled early. So those are another guys that I would look at that could make an immediate impact.